All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure. Hello. It is a pleasure to be in community with you. I am Dr. Mauriciere de Govia. I stand before you as a mom. I'm an educator here in New York City, a leader, and I've been Prince fam since I was 9 years old. So this too is my 40th anniversary, and I'm excited to show my love of Mr. Nelson with you, and of course talk about the dynamic Sheila E. D'Angela, thank you for always coming through with the greatness and providing this platform for us to relive this amazing year, because it was a great year for purple music. So down on that. Okay, so today what I want to talk to you about is Sheila E's In the Glamorous Life, the album itself. And I want to provide some historical context. I'm going to go track by track on the album. We have 6 tracks to go through, and basically make connections around how her rhythmic reverie and her fierce femininity show up in each track. All right. So during the last conversation, we heard about Sheila's roots, and Sheila does come to, I know for me, 9 years old, 1984, Sheila E. as a Glamorous Life, Erotic City is how I get my introduction, but there's this whole history for Sheila. So Sheila Escovedo, born on December 12th, fellow Sagittarian. She is she is of Creole, French, African, and Mexican, and Native American descent. And I watched a podcast recently. I have here early 20s, but Sheila identifies as having her professional music career start when she was 15 years old. And she played with George Duke, who she's here in the image with picture with. She was featured on several of his albums: Don't Let Go in 1978, Follow the Rainbow 1979, Master the Game 1979, 2 albums in 1 year. Remember those days? And A Brazilian Love Affair 1980. She also played with Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye. She was featured on Marvin Gaye's last tour, the Midnight Love Tour. She was on Herbie Hancock's Monster, and she played with Diana Ross. While she didn't get credit, I don't know if this was discussed yet, but she still gets royalties from her work with Michael Jackson on Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. So she played the water bottles on the track. Yep, away. So she has all these credentials, and then she comes from a very musical family. She released 2 albums with her dad, Happy Together, and then Solo 2 in 1977. Tito Puente is her godfather. Her uncle Coke Escovedo was in Santana, and he also started the band Azteca. And then she meets our Prince in 1977, and during that meeting, Sheila vows to be in his band. So testimony to starting and having vision. So my discovery of Sheila E. So it's been 40 years since the summer of 84, as we all know, and my inner 9-year-old still remembers the first time I heard the funkiest song on WBLS. I was clear that it was Prince singing, and then the female vocalist says, "We can F until the dawn, making love till cherry's gone." At the time, I was like, what did she say? Did she just curse on the radio? And I'm curious. And Prince is so nasty, but I want more. Truth. All right, so to compensate for me not being able to see Purple Rain, my mom, because it was rated R, so she was like, no Purple Rain. So my mom naively bought me all the albums associated with Purple Rain, because music was a thing in our family. I played the piano as a kid. And my Time album, Ice Cream Castles, another presentation, but if you look at the back of my Time album, it has asterisk next to the songs that I can listen to, right? Because she heard my draws and she was like, that's the end of that, right? But one day she brings home the 12-inch for Let's Go Crazy, and it's in that moment that I discover B-sides. Like, I didn't know that there was this whole other world, right? The Purple Rain album itself was epic, but then we have like B-sides. It's like a whole other piece going on here. And it was in that moment that I realized that the female vocalist was Sheila E. It's important to note that I don't have the exact date for the Glamorous Life. I was trying to do my research. I looked at Dwayne's book, but Glamorous Life as an album, it was released about 6 weeks prior to Erotic City as a single, but for my 9-year-old self, that's where it came first. It came Erotic City, then The Glamorous Life. So In Erotic City, Prince and Sheila E trade off vocals, creating a playful and seductive dynamic between the two artists. The lyrics are filled with sexual innuendo and imagery as Prince and Sheila E sing about the pleasure of intimacy and the excitement of exploring desire. Musically, Erotic City is driven by a funky bass line, syncopated drums from Prince's use of his favorite, the Lynn drum machine, and synthesizers creating a danceable and irresistible groove that made feet move and hips gyrate. The track was initially credited to Prince and Revolution, but Prince and Sheila E are the only two on it. Prince's signature guitar riffs and what fans would come to know as that Camille-esque, deeper, all of my purple life, that deeper voice interfaces with Sheila's feminine prowessness. The bold and provocative track would become my first memory, where Prince equally shares with a woman on vocals. Yes, I'm clear about Lisa Coleman and Jill Jones on 1999 and Apollonia on Take Me With You, but Erotic City landed different. It was almost as if Prince knew he needed someone who can take him on at something he's really good at, and he's an exceptional drummer. In this collaboration, we clearly saw how Sheila E was on par with him. She's going head to head, and the previous panel talked about this. Like, she's going head to head with him in this sexual talk, adding to the possibility, not just singing along with it or waiting for her turn to sing. Every time I comb my hair, thoughts of you get in my eyes. You're a sinner, I don't care. I just want your creamy thighs. That's Prince. And she responds, if we cannot make babies, maybe we can make some time. Thoughts are pretty, you and me. Erotic City, come alive. We can until the dawn, making love till cherry's gone. Erotic City, can't you see? Thoughts are pretty, you and me. It's also evident to note that this track and many shared stages later would reveal what a musician, she was a musician who can hold her own, even next to Prince. And I think that's what he really enjoyed within their dynamic. Like, she was really on par with where he was musically. Together as artists, Erotic City revealed their ability to create music that pushed boundaries and challenged conventions. So, The Glamorous Life. Sheila E in The Glamorous Life is the first album that we know her as Sheila E. And there was a question in the last panel around like where, as I hear it, you asked the question about like where is she in the continuum. My answer to that is like this is her coming out, right? So she is Sheila Escovedo until this point, and then she's Sheila E, and now I'm at the front and I'm front and center. So it's written as it's directed by Sheila E and the Star Company. Prince's alter ego Jamie Starr is all over this, and Prince is not really accredited on the album at all. However, we know that Prince provided backing vocals. He plays on the Oberheim OB8, which is an analog synthesizer that he used often, the Yamaha DX7, another synthesizer, piano, guitars, bass guitar, and his favorite, the Lynn drum machine. Other contributors on this album are some of our other favorite Purple folks. Jill Jones and Brenda Bennett offer backing vocals, David Coleman, Lisa's brother, and Around the World in a Day contributor. He plays the cello on Oliver's House and the title track, The Glamorous Life. Novi Navog is on violin, on The Next Time Wipe the Lipstick Off Your Collar. And we also see Novi's work on The Times Ice Cream Castles, Purple Rain, where she played the viola, and on Around the World in a Day. The album is a short, lyrically romantic Prince production. Did you go? Oops, does it work? There we go. The album is a short, lyrically romantic Prince production entanglement that gives listeners a foretelling of what would occur in what we now know about Sheila and Prince's musical soulmate journey. On the album, there are 6 songs that lay the foundational entry point to Sheila's positioning as front and center. Starring in The Glamorous Life, Sheila becomes a rhythmic nucleus that brings percussion forward, led by a sexy, fierce woman whose musical powers lead you into the fable land of St. Mark. The album opens up with church bells, and yes, sleigh bells were also discussed, signaling the tale of the Belle of St. Mark, who is a frail but passionate creature with ebony hair and eyes of deep blue green. He's also 17, and she is in love with him. At this time, Sheila is about 10 years older than the Belle of St. Mark, but his beauty extraordinaire has her hooked with a 3-time frame, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with the Belle of St. Mark. Hearing the song always made me, and Robin and I are talking about this all the time, made me think about Prince in terms of being the belle because of the description. He's 1 year younger than Sheila. He's called a belle. So normally a belle is somebody who identifies as a woman, but in good old in 1984 androgyny, it's showing up here in this song. And the belle Saint Mark, he don't talk to strangers. He's so mysterious. His erotic persuasion provokes me like no other man. Sounds like Prince to me. I've always questioned, did Prince write a song about himself for Sheila to sing about her undying love for him? Just a question, right? It's undeniably evident that 40 years later, this piece of art has imitated life, as she is one of the main keepers of his legacy. So again, sets vision in the music, and we see it going forward. Either way, the Belle of Saint Mark is it was catchy, and it resonated with the audiences as it charted in the US, UK, Ireland, Netherlands, and New Zealand. So like mine, because this came up in the last panel, and D'Angela, I have thought about this, right? So Strawberry Shortcake is the second track off of the album. It's a funky instrumental that intersects with the breaths and reminiscent sounds of the girl crying, but it sounds like she's laughing, doesn't it, from Purple Rain? It's in there if you listen carefully. And the scene with Prince and Apollonia in his bedroom together. So Sheila's in her element on this track, and it lifts up her past percussion experience. I think hearing it, though, out of context, people don't realize, they don't make the connection. But if you knew where she was coming from, Strawberry Shortcake makes a lot of sense. It also is, I think, a foretelling of Prince's desire to create instrumental music. And we get Madhouse 3 years later. So Strawberry Shortcake, I think, was definitely a foretelling of what's to come. And that picture is for Tammy, because I know she loves lemon cake. That was a joke for real hardcore Prince fans who get the lemon cake joke. Okay. All right. So in the tracks Noon Rendezvous, Oliver's House, and Next Time Wipe the Lipstick Off Your Collar, Sheila brings the fierce femininity to another level with an unapologetic, empowered sexuality rooted in boldness that anchors her agency, autonomy, and confidence in sexual desires, boundaries, and chosen self-expression. In recent years, Sheila has shared that she was a victim of a childhood sexual assault. And in hindsight, it's liberating to hear her younger self choose into the album's third track, Noon Rendezvous. If my bodily functions operate this way, when you just call my name, I'd hate to see when we are finally playing that nasty love game. Empowered sexuality begins with self-awareness and a deep understanding of one's own desire, preferences, and boundaries. It involves a willingness to explore one's sexuality without shame or judgment, and to embrace and celebrate one's unique desires and fantasies. While Prince penned Noon Rendezvous, and his version was later released on 2019's Originals album, Sheila's rendition brings forth vulnerability as a superpower of a woman who is in anticipation and admittance of what she desires. Oliver's House is the fourth track on the album and is another example of Prince writing the life he wants with Sheila. And she goes on to sing about it while being fiercely feminine and powerful. Oliver, this is from the song, Oliver, he dressed me up and then he undressed me slowly. Oliver is so weird, but he knows how to play guitar. I'm a sucker for a major chord, a ride in an open car. We're gonna have fun. Oliver's House. There's an undeniable communicative consent that comes along with fierce femininity tied to empowered sexuality. In this track, Sheila prioritizes and is clear about her enthusiastic consent in her sexual encounter with Oliver. She opens up honestly about being a sucker for a major chord. Bring that guitar riff on so I can have fun at Oliver's house, right? On this track, Sheila has autonomy and agency, even as Oliver's girlfriend Louise got drunk and called her a bitch for kissing him. She's gonna make a lot of white noise and play with the white boys because that's what fun at Oliver's house looks like. Next Time Wipe the Lipstick Off Your Collar is the fifth track on this album. And I really believe that this track encapsulates the ultimate freedom from societal and relational expectations. This track challenges stereotypes and double standards that perpetuate shame, guilt, or judgment around infidelity in relationships. Sheila's not upset that he's cheating, that he's not buying flowers or candy or taking her dancing. She's more concerned about his understanding. You don't have to take me dancing. Our backyard will do. You don't have to eat fancy hamburgers or cool. I don't care if you stay out until the break of dawn. Next time, wipe the lipstick off your collar. It's an offering to get your whole life right, brother. I mean, like, come to me correct, right? You're a mess. All right. So the request is when you show up, you look ready for me. You go do what you do, and when you return, know that I don't care for sugar-coated flattery. French kiss will suffice. Blame our sex on your rundown battery. Holding you is nice. I know when you're lying, baby, there's no need to scream. There's no need to shout. Next time, wipe the lipstick off your collar. Sheila's feminine prowessness and self-expression is clear, and her authenticity is a demand for respect and do it my way. After all, you're doing it your way. And an even robbery is no exchange. An even exchange is no robbery. The sixth and final track is The Glamorous Life. So this legendary hit is what most likely introduced the world to Sheila E as the drummer, percussionist, and artist we know today. This song is a standout example of Sheila's ability to blend various musical elements seamlessly. Its infectious beat, driven by Sheila's dynamic percussion work that effortlessly fuses Latin, pop, funk influences, provides a glimpse into the world of opulence and luxury, offering a narrative that resonates with both extravagance and introspection. With lyrics that read, she saw him standing in the section marked, "If you have to ask, you can't afford it, lingerie." She threw him bread and said, "Make me scream. In the dark, what could he say? Boys with small talk and small minds really don't impress me in bed." She said, "I need a man's man, baby. Diamonds and furs. Love will only conquer my head." She wants to lead the glamorous life. She don't need a man's touch. She wants to lead the glamorous life. Without love, it ain't much. Going back to 1984, my 9-year-old self was blown away by this track and will forever remember the American Music Awards performance of Sheila with the Glow drumsticks, performing this song. Fast forward to now, I'm clear that as my 9-year-old self listened to Sheila E's confident vocals and watched her dynamic performances, I was inspired by the representation of a strong, empowered woman with Mexican and African roots. Moreover, the lyrics of The Glamorous Life sparked my imagination and encouraged me to dream big, as the song's themes of independence, ambition, self-confidence instilled a sense of empowerment, possibility, and a reminder that without love, it ain't much. The Glamorous Life served as a source of empowerment for me and many of you sitting here. If you think about it, when was the first time you saw Sheila E? What did you think? What do you remember most? You remember something because you're sitting here 40 years later. There was impact and there was connection. She made you look and you're still watching. Thank you, Sheila E, for consistently showing that women can take center stage and command attention with their talent and their charisma. Thank you for challenging traditional gender roles and demonstrating that fierce femininity excels in traditionally male-dominated fields. I celebrate and honor Sheila E as she continues to do this in her latest album, Bailar, which was released earlier this month, and it's exceptional. Give it a listen, as once again, she brings rhythmic reverie and fierce femininity to this world. I am Dr. Mauriciere de Govia, and it's been a pleasure to be in community with you. This is my family with Sheila's family. The baby. This is on the Glamorous Life cruise. So this is one of those moments where the show goes on. So Sheila, I want to say she released it a year in advance that this was happening. And then a few weeks later, we lost Prince. And she still moved ahead with it. So that's my brother Omar. That's her brother Juan. Sheila, my daughter Nayera. Me, my son Tasai. Her dad, Peter Escovedo. My nephew Kalani, and my sister Lisa. And thank you. Thank you.